Hey, it's James Kotecki. I'm in the C Space Studio here at CES 2025, joined once again by our friend, Ramm. I hope I can call you our friend. You're a great friend of the show.
Of course, you're my friend. Of course we
Ramm, head of Americas at Uber Advertising. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me, James.
Now, the Americas, is that North and South America?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
a big swath of territory.
US and C, and we are major markets in Brazil, Mexico, et cetera. So the entire Americas, yeah.
Well, we are so excited to catch up once again. What is your message here at CES 2025?
Yeah, we've made some big announcements. Yesterday, you might have heard our announcement with Delta. You can now integrate your loyalty points with the Uber application.
There was a big keynote yesterday.
Yes. So that's beginning in the second quarter of this year. And then some announcements with NVIDIA on the AV side. So a lot going on from a general business perspective. And we're excited to talk about that and ads too.
Let's talk about the ads perspective.
Yeah.
What are the big themes and trends for you right now?
Yeah, so our business crossed the $1 billion threshold, which was an exciting mark for us. Yes, since we last talked. We're debuting even more of a full suite of products from the rider side to the eat side, performance, as well as upper funnel and brand. We made a major announcement with T-Mobile, 50,000 screens in the back of cars this coming year. So a lot to talk about in terms of the sophistication of our offering, and then measurement is a big thing in terms of our integrations with third-party partners, as well as spinning up more of our own solutions as well.
Tell us about those screens in the back of the cars. When I've had the experience of seeing those screens, they can be ads, they can be interactive things that can also be ads. Like, tell me more about how those look.
Yeah, so taking a step back, I mean, the average Uber ride is about 20 minutes. So you actually have a good amount of time to be captive in the back of the car. And we're starting to think more and more about what can that personalized experience be. So that could be content, that could be shopping, that could be an add to wallet if you're going to a merchant location. It could be going and picking up some of your other things on the Eats platform and bringing it to you. So a lot of different experiences that we think about in the back of the car. I mean, the screens themselves are immersive, full screen sound on. So we also think it's a good creative canvas to tell a longer form story. And then if you look at the psychographic of the Uber user and how they feel when they're in the back of the ride, they're relaxed, right? You're giving them back time. They have like a moment, a respite. So how can we introduce things like games even in that environment to help make the experience even more enjoyable?
So we also want to talk about the on-demand delivery experience, which is also a big part of what Uber has to offer. What's going on with that in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, look, consumer expectations are through the roof, right? And we can get you anything in under 30 minutes, and I think that anywhere around the world, and I think that concept is continuing to fuel the ODD space. Obviously, we started with restaurants, and it's grocery and delivery. It's beverages and alcohol, things like that. But now consumers expect a large swath of different types of items getting to them in under 20 minutes. So, big electronics, right? Things from specialty retail, things from beauty. And the minute they know they can get it accurately, quickly, that becomes a basket building behavior that they then start to do more of down line. So I would say consumer expectations are getting ratcheted up, right, for what they expect in that environment. And of course, that's giving them back time in their day to do the things that they love.
And to be clear, the play there is to do something that is branded as an Uber delivery service, right? Or are we also talking about maybe Uber is behind the scenes delivering stuff that I ordered from someone else?
We obviously it's Uber brand in the way that it shows up to you all, but we also are with our Uber Direct product helping a lot of merchants and with our white labeled technology, right, to get things more quickly to consumers. That's a challenge that merchants are trying to solve. Because of the consumer shift in expectations. And if they can do it, great. If they can't do it, we're going to help them get that to the consumer faster in an accurate manner.
I wonder if we can talk about younger generations and how they're using Uber and interacting with advertising. So both from their proclivity to use Uber and then also how they feel about ads. Tell me about Gen Z and even going into Gen Alpha now.
Yeah, I mean, I have some use cases at home. I have some Gen Alphas in my home. I mean, again, their expectations, they're digitally native. Their expectations are very different than mine and I grew up with, right? So they want things more quickly, they want things, a different variety of things, and they expect it, they want it now. I think we're also seeing they have a good loyalty to brands. So with Uber, they might have started with Uber with our new Uber Teen product, right? So they're getting to their sporting event, they're getting in it with friends, they're going to a party. Uber then becomes part of their ingrained behavior as they move on from college into getting their first house and their job and things like that. So we're building loyalty with that younger base earlier, and they're adopting it more quickly because they are a digital, they're used to having things on demand, and they expect that.
There was this notion floating around that younger people were slower to get their driver's licenses, and maybe that's partially because they could just take cars to where they needed to go, that earlier generations didn't have the capability of doing. Do you actually see that in the data?
Yes, it is a trend, right? I mean, it's they care about sustainability, they care about affordability, and they're realizing, hey, I can take Ubers where I need to go. I actually don't need to have a car in my city. I don't need to pay for parking or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I can share it with my friends. I can get a green, an Uber X. And maybe take that money and do something else with it, right?
And then I also wonder, because earlier generations grew up with advertising as maybe much more of interrupting. I mean, their programming, much more something that was just like loud in the background that your mom would want you to mute or something like that. And now there's an opportunity for it to be much more contextually relevant to folks. So I wonder if newer consumers, younger generations who are growing up, have even just a totally different mindset when it comes to advertising. You're talking about brand loyalty, but I also just wonder if marketers, who are, millennials, Gen X and older, need to almost reframe their mindset when it comes to how these folks are thinking about ads.
Yeah, and also, I mean, they're comfortable shopping right in the ad environment, right? They search differently, they buy differently. A lot of things that we talk to our customers about on the advertising side is no dead ends, right? So from your social, from your streaming, from your TV, how can you drop them into an experience where they can shop and buy if you don't have that capability on within your site? That's where Uber can come in and help too.
I would be remiss if we don't talk a bit about autonomy. And if I'm in the back of an Uber and it's autonomous, maybe that changes my ride experience in the advertising side, but just generally with autonomy, maybe first, what's the cutting edge, what's going on, and what's coming next?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we don't see it as a winner-take-all scenario, right? There's a lot to be gleaned through partnerships, and we've done a number of those, and you'll continue to see us accelerate quickly there, right? We also have a very good historical look at city patterns. Our location data is so additive, so we actually have a good handle on what the experience needs to be in the back of the ride, right, to be complementary to what we expect from the autonomous tech side. So we're partnering, we're moving at light speed in this arena, and of course you'll continue to see announcements that support that tech forward approach to it.
Well, let's talk about another light speed technology, which is artificial intelligence. How is AI changing the expectations of what brand partners have from what Uber can offer, and maybe from the consumer side too, but I wonder if brands are having different expectations given what AI can do.
Yeah, I think we use it all the time in the back end in our business. We have for a long time. I think it's helping things like getting them the data and insights they need quickly to decision and to buy on our platform, particularly with the billions of data signals that we have, helping us organize that and get it in the hands of our brands and our customers so they can action on it. Major use cases there, and of course you'll see it in our general business applications too. How do we get accurate pictures with the couriers picking and packing in store? How do we have more streamlined efficiencies in certain parts of our actual delivery and mobility businesses, and of course using AI for a lot of those core business functions as well.
Yeah. Are you thinking about using it to create ads on the fly for folks?
Yes, we certainly do it. They can bring those ideas to us, and I think where we're also seeing it come through is in the data that we can provide to help them get insights to generate the AI advertisements more quickly.
Yeah.
So a mix of yes, we can do some of that, but also using the signals to customize it.
And I wonder if you're so well positioned there that I wonder if it even really needs to be that much generative AI for it to still be better than what you might have otherwise, because you do know their location, you know where they're going, and so you can, just with some basic information, kind of maybe create something that's semi-customized.
Yes, I mean, we talked about this last year. Our billions of signals are now about 3 billion quarterly, right? Wow. So that is high fidelity global location data, that's purchase data. All of that, again, can be used as signals to, yes, to purchase advertising, but also as insights that the brands can take away to inform their general business and their market share and other key metrics.
Everything is evolving rapidly. Do you think there's any huge step change in 2025? Is there something that's going to be radically different that you're looking forward to?
No, I think we're going to see obviously some consolidation. There's a more friendly environment for that. Some M&A, right? And we'll see what happens there. And also the pace of change continues to get more and more aggressive for the brands to play in. So we will continue to advise brands to move quickly when you see trends. in order to capture on that shopping behavior and that share shift behavior that they're making.
Last question. I believe one of the Uber values is build with heart. What does that mean to you?
You know, I think build with heart on the consumer side can mean that we're building something that inherently is like delighting and creating magical experiences for the consumers in their everyday life. So you see that in our products. You'll continue to see that in how we show up for the consumer, giving them time back to live their best local life.
Yeah.
And how we see it internally and how I see it with my teams is that we're rolling up our sleeves. We're trying to understand our brand's challenges. How can we solve their business challenges and build with them, co-create with them in a way that that brings our hearts into what we do for them. So it's a consumer value that we have, but also an internal value, and we share it across the board.
Megan Ramm at Uber, thanks for sharing your heart and mind with us in this interview today. Thanks so much.
Good to see you.
And we really appreciate your time today in the C Space Studio. My name is James Kotecki. This concludes the morning streaming session from the C Space Studio, but an entire afternoon streaming session is coming up. So wherever you're watching us live, make sure that you stay here and catch all the conversations that are coming your way here in the C Space Studio. I'm James Kotecki at CES 2025.